Brilliance Audio presents A Life Removed, Hunting for Refuge in the Modern World by Rose George, performed by Karen Cass. (1) University of Bullet. Today, Charles Taylor has liberated the Liberian people. At least over 20,000 of them have been liberated to the great beyond. Nigerian newspaper, This Day, on Charles Taylor's arrival in Nigeria, August 2003. A young man in Cricklewood is watching on television a country that he used to belong to. Rich is watching it from 3,175 miles and 13 years distance because he's from Liberia, which used to be known for its exports of timber and rubber, but whose biggest export now is refugees. 750,000 Liberians are still on the run from his country, or a quarter of the population. That's equivalent to 12 million British people, or more than the population of London. Emptied. The camera pans over Monrovia, Liberia's once gracious capital on the Atlantic Ocean. I see buildings and waves. The young man sees memories. Man, he says in his half-London, half-Liberian accent. There's nothing left. Conversations with Liberians can be confusing. For anyone unschooled in the country's recent history, a discussion would probably go like this. When did you leave your home? When the war met me. Which one? Who raped your mother? The rebels. Which ones? When did you leave Liberia? Which time? How was your child killed? Which one? It is hard to keep up with the succession of men, women and guns who have destroyed a country. Here's a short list. PRC, LPC, NPFL, INPFL, Ulimo J, Ulimo K, LERD, Model. Here are some names. Samuel, Charles, Prince, Roosevelt, George. Innocuous names for lethal men. I ask refugees why these men made war. I don't know, they said. Just to destroy. Liberia used to be a good place to be. It worked, more or less. Before 1989, Liberians tell me, there was no such thing as a Liberian refugee. People would go abroad to study and almost always come home. With a US dollar economy, stability and Atlantic surf, why wouldn't they? On a bridge in Monrovia some weeks earlier, a boy was selling sweets. They were laid out in red wrappers along the narrow top of a waist-high barrier, one by one in a long and dainty line. He was selling them singly because one sweet can be a luxury in a country only months away from battles so bad that Liberians refer to them without irony as World Wars I, II, and III. The red sweets look like shards of glass. They are beautiful against the damaged stone of the bridge, and behind them there are bullet holes. Between June and July 2003, the time of the World Wars, this bridge was the stage for prancing boy and girl soldiers, in filthy clothes and crazy wigs, with heavy guns and drugged eyes, who delighted news cameramen and terrified everyone else. They were from both sides of the battle. LERD, Liberians United for Reconciliation and Democracy rebels on one side, militia loyal to President Charles Taylor on the other. They gave themselves fine cartoon names like Jungle Fire or University of Bullet. They were all undisciplined and dangerous, from the government soldiers launching mortars from the Monrovia side of the bridge to the young rebels receiving them on Bushrod Island, which they now occupied. They had got far enough into the city to write "No Monkey" graffiti on the walls. The monkey is Charles Taylor, now ex-president of Liberia, so called because, the versions vary, he was up in the tree and wouldn't come down, or because he was up in the tree.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?